Refund, refund, refund. Over the 2025 May Day holiday, China saw more than 300 million people traveling, leading to overcrowded tourist destinations operating beyond their capacity. Businesses initially expected a significant boost in profits, but instead, they were met with a surge of budget travelers. In fact, some tourists were so dissatisfied that they demanded refunds on the spot at several scenic areas.
Refund. Let him refund. Oh my, we can't go back.
Refund. So many people, oh my, I can't do this anymore. Not coming next time. So many people, such a long line. A video shared online captured the chaos at Wuhan's subway, where the holiday crowds made for a hectic and overcrowded scene. Many tourist spots also raised prices during the holiday, sparking frustration among visitors. This led to a wave of complaints, with many tourists posting videos to express their discontent with the experience.
In Beihai, 2 crabs, 1 fish, 1 snail, 1 lettuce, 2 oysters, 2 abalones, 1,578 yuan. If you are coming to Beihai, make sure you check carefully. You must be careful with this restaurant.
198 yuan per person. This tractor money will be made back in no time. Oh my god, 3,000 yuan just for this trip. Just one round. One tourist remarked in a video that traveling now feels like paying to endure suffering. I can't stomach shelling out 500 yuan for a seafood dinner, but 2 yuan just to take a leak? Come on. And there's a loudspeaker blaring non-stop about parking violations, forcing us into a lot for 20 yuan, no haggling. The kicker? A sign at the bathroom says, no overnight stays. Who's camping out in a toilet? Paying to be miserable. I checked hotels online, 700 to 800 yuan a night. At least they don't nickel and dime you for the bathroom. But seriously, not even letting folks crash in the John? Another person reported seeing fraudulent behavior at a parking lot.
When I got here, the parking fee sign was a whiteboard, and the writing was written on the back. When I came back to remove the car, they flipped it around and showed me the writing. They told me, parking here costs 3 yuan, and wouldn't let me leave.
In Guilin, elderly people managing bamboo rafts on the Li River would ask tourists for money when they wanted to take photos.
Can we wait for them? Can we walk a little slower so I can take a picture?
Do you have money?
Huh?
Do you have money?
Money? What money?
You're not paying? And you still want to take pictures? A tourist shared a video describing how Beihai Weizhou's island scenic area treated visitors as if they were easy to exploit. Listen, the cheapest ferry to get here costs 150 yuan. Business class is 180. Then you've got 210 or 240 yuan tickets. Getting onto the island runs 98 yuan. But once you're there, good luck. No public transportation. You're stuck renting those tiny electric scooters or a regular car. Head to a scenic spot. Your car's gotta park in their lot. Electric scooters are 5 yuan, 4-wheelers 20 yuan, 3-wheelers 15 yuan. My god, they're fleecing tourists like we're cash machines. Every possible fee they can dream up, you're paying it. No way out. This tourist said they had rented a car, but the site refused to allow them to drive in. The announcement at the entrance mentioned a 3-kilometer walk and suggested taking a sightseeing bus, which was mandatory. Another tourist said he would never return to Yangshuo Guilin.
就吃一个早餐的时间 我的车就前后被堵上了。
Just grabbing breakfast, and my car gets boxed in front and back. That black one's mine. The electric scooter rental guy claims we're blocking traffic and demands a fine to move his scooters. We tried talking it out, no dice, so we called the cops. The rental boss spins a tale to the police, saying they warned us to move for blocking the way, and we ignored them, so they parked there. Total lie. Nobody told us squat, and our spot wasn't blocking anything. Finally, my buddy says, check the cameras. That spooked them, and they moved. These folks must be desperate, scheming every trick to dip into your wallet. I'm done with this place for good. Some scenic spots were originally themed around flowers, but tourists arrived to find there were very few blossoms. Look at this mountain. Nothing but a few flowers here. Just these few flowers. I came all this way, and there are these old aunties too. 2 other vloggers complained about the poor experience at Lushan in Jiangxi.
有没有到过庐山的呀？这庐山太坑了。
Has anyone been to Lushan? It's such a rip-off. You go up the mountain, then down, and you leave. At the transfer station, you can't even see any attractions. You have to change buses to get to the spot, and then you have to take another car to get to the scenic area. I'll never come to Lushan again.
One vlogger criticized local governments for using deceptive tactics to boost consumption, heavily promoting online campaigns that featured beautiful mountains, rivers, and lush landscapes. However, when tourists arrived, the reality was very different. The promotional videos for the village showed beautiful women, but in reality, tourists saw mostly older women, which was a big disappointment. This TikToker also shared his terrible experience visiting Luoyang's Changdu Guo, where the overall travel experience was extremely poor.
大概有10几年五一没有出来旅游了。
It's been over a decade since I hit the road for May Day, but this year I got a wild urge to visit Luoyang's Chongdu Guo, 350 kilometers, 6 hours of driving, kicked off at 6 a.m., rolled into the scenic area by 2 p.m. Then, it took nearly 3 hours to crawl 3 kilometers from the entrance to my hotel, 2.5 hours of inching along. Seriously, when will China's tourist spots treat visitors like actual humans? Don't you know your capacity, your traffic limits? Can't you hire more staff? The roads were a total mess, like gridlock soup. This trip was an absolute nightmare. When are you going to start respecting people? Chinese state media has widely promoted the surge in travel during the May Day holiday. Reports say that on the first day of the holiday, there was a peak of passenger flow across the country. On May 1st, national railways handled 22.5 million trips and added 1,341 extra trains. On April 30th, 18.3 million trips were traveled by train, an 11.5% increase from the previous year. The national highway traffic was expected to reach 66.5 million trips, about 2 times the usual daily traffic. On May 1st, civil aviation handled 2.3 million passengers, a 9% increase compared to last year, with 18,751 flights operating, a 3.6% increase year over year. China's Ministry of Transport predicts that over the May Day holiday, daily cross-region movement will exceed 270 million trips, potentially reaching the peak travel levels seen since 2023. This may make this year's May Day holiday the busiest in 3 years. But on May 1st, one TikToker shared a video showing that the situation at Beijing Xidang Joy City was not much different from the usual. Beijing Xidang Joy City, the hotspot for young folks. What's the lunch scene like at noon on May 1st? The streets outside are buzzing with young people, but it's not a total mob. I stepped inside to scoop it out. The restaurants, no lines at the doors, and inside, they're pretty quiet, barely 30% of the seats filled. The vlogger noted that during the May Day holiday's peak lunch hours, restaurants in Beijing's Xindang Joy City were generally not crowded. Most were 80 to 90% full, some nearly empty, with only 2 or 3 having lines. Another vlogger observed that many Chinese people feel compelled to travel during holidays. He explained, "Why do Chinese people rush to travel during the holidays? Highways are gridlocked, and attractions are so packed you can't see the scenery. What's the point? It's not about loving crowds, it's a lack of choice. With only a few long holidays each year, these are the only times families can gather, take kids on trips, and make up for missed time together." The vlogger expressed hope for a future where travel doesn't depend on year-end bonuses or cramming yearly expectations into a 5-day rush, but where people can rest and travel freely whenever they choose.
说白了，他们也消费降级了。
To put it simply, their consumption has decreased. People who used to travel to places like Sanya are now going abroad. People who used to visit far-off tourist spots are now just going to local ones. Those who used to take weekend getaways for at least 3 to 5 days are now just taking short, cheap trips. The streets are full of budget travelers, and the average spend is really low. He pointed out that popular tourist attractions across China, such as Datang Everbright City in Xi'an, Beijing, Shanghai, and Hangzhou, have largely become places for strolling. Despite large crowds, most spending goes to accommodation, dining, tickets, and travel expenses, with little reaching small businesses. He highlighted that of 1,000 yuan spent daily by a tourist, 800 to 900 yuan often goes to state-owned enterprises. Famous attractions are typically managed by state-run companies, leaving private vendors with minimal profits. Thus, while tourism appears thriving, many business owners report low earnings. Chinese state media reported that a Yunnan college student's desire to relax during the May Day holiday sparked family conflict. Planning to travel to Chongqing with a friend, she opted for a 10-hour train ride, costing 105 yuan to save money. Many students choose such budget travel when finances are tight. Unexpectedly, her mother firmly rejected the plan, showing recent family expense records and sharply criticizing her. Why do you keep raising such embarrassing topics? Can't you wait for another chance? Clearly, the mother would not permit the trip. Feeling unfairly treated, the student posted online, lamenting that her mother wouldn't even spare 105 yuan and sought advice on persuading her mother to allow the May Day travel.
五一假期我没有出去玩。
I skipped traveling for May Day. Holidays aren't for chilling. They're a trap to make you blow your hard-earned cash. I'm not buying it. What's so fun about May Day anymore? Day 1, you're stuck in highway gridlock. Day 2, you're queuing at attractions from dawn to dusk. Day 3, you shop, but everything's insanely overpriced. Day 4, no tickets back to the city. Stress city, mouth full of blisters. Day 5, more highway traffic jams. Me? I stayed home, sleeping it off. Day 1, recharging my soul. Day 2, boosting my vibes. Day 3, clearing my mind. Day 4, keeping my glow. Day 5, brimming with energy. You guys probably came back wiped out like dogs, but I was cool as an old hound, saving my cash.
这种假期呢，就对我们这种牛马工资最大的收割机。
Holidays like these are straight up cash grabs for us working stiffs. Picture this, you hit the road, and beyond the insane crowds, everything's priced through the roof. A hotel room, normally under 200 yuan, shoots up to 800 for May Day, and folks are fighting to book it. A bubble tea with the town's name slapped on it, 40 to 50 yuan, and you're lining up to buy. You think the splurging is fun? Nah, you're just stuffing the pockets of those businesses. The vlogger noted that his relatives work in the food and beverage industry, giving him insight into the holiday economy. A Golden Week holiday can generate a month's worth of revenue or more for businesses. However, for consumers, it means spending more for a worse experience. He mentioned planning a 12-hour trip as spending 8 hours in lines, followed by crowded high-speed trains and railways on the return. Commenters online remarked, traveling during May Day isn't as enjoyable as staying home with air conditioning and TV shows. With the rare holidays, we prioritize comfort. Online discussions about May Day travel show a preference for less popular small cities, opting for affordable short trips to save money. Since the 3-year COVID-19 pandemic devastated China's economy, recovery has been sluggish despite lifted lockdowns. Unemployment has risen, household incomes have dropped significantly, and domestic demand has contracted sharply. Although the Chinese government proposed strategies to boost domestic demand last year, incomes have not meaningfully increased. Authorities have acknowledged that weak domestic demand with low consumer confidence and spending power is one of the economy's 4 main challenges. Retail sales of consumer goods in China's 2 largest cities, Beijing and Shanghai, fell significantly year over year in March. Beijing's March retail sales reached 105 billion yuan, down 9.9% from last year. First quarter sales totaled 346 billion yuan, a 3.3% year-over-year decline. Shanghai's March sales were 128 billion yuan, a 14.1% drop from last year, with first quarter sales down 1.1% year-over-year. Taiwanese scholar Sun Guangxiang observed that Beijing and Shanghai, as China's most economically sensitive cities, face significant layoff pressures, directly undermining residents' economic expectations and consumer confidence. Economist Xu Chenggang recently noted that the Chinese government seeks to revive the weak economy by stimulating domestic demand, but demand remains extremely poor. Only a small elite is wealthy, with a true middle class of under 200 million. Most low-income individuals lack funds, rendering stimulation ineffective. The government controls all resources, land and banks are state-owned, profiting while citizens bear losses. Wealth concentrates at the top, leaving the poor poorer, making it impossible to drive the economy through domestic demand. The Chinese government has not implemented universal cash handouts like some Western nations did during the pandemic. Economist Li Daokui recently proposed allocating trillions of yuan for May Day consumption, offering a 25% discount on purchases using ID cards to boost spending. Xu Chenggang argued that proposals to give cash to citizens to stimulate consumption are unfeasible in China's system, where the government controls all resources and power. Economic models confirm this approach would fail. Xu Chenggang emphasized that the root issue is a system. Without reforming land and bank ownership structures or addressing the authoritarian regime, domestic demand will remain stagnant and economic challenges will worsen.